Hey, what's up everybody? How you all doing? So it's early in the morning. I've just ran out to my potato cave, which is like the worst name for a man cave ever. I've had a fight with the feckin' badger on the way, got my arse kicked and decided, you know what? Let's make a wee bit of a rant video today. Well, maybe not so much as a rant as more of a questioning type of video. Sure, why not? I'm suffering from a slight concussion after playing football and clashing heads with some Shrek looking fecker who was all forehead and no face. So what could go wrong? Now something is missing in Warframe. I've got this empty feeling which I can't quite put my finger on, and I think it's the changes to the void, I'm not sure. Endless void missions are a thing of the past and I kind of missed them. They've been taken away from us and a lot of players are now left wondering what the feck do we do to fill that gap. If you enjoyed Endless Void Survival or Defense, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about, and if not, then move along good sir, nothing to see here, just another swearing paddy talking absolute nonsense. But as the video title says, what endgame? Where is it? What is the so-called endgame now in Warframe? Is it the raids? Is it the sortie missions? Maybe it is in fact Fashion Frame, the true endgame, or is it the new Fisher type missions? Maybe you guys still run endless missions for resources or want to see endless void missions return. By all means, let me know in the comment section below. And this is a bit of a touchy subject. It's a subject that has been spoken about in Warframe a lot over the game's lifespan, and it is a question that's been appearing a lot in my videos lately since the changes to the Void and how we go about acquiring our prime parts. But first off, let me clarify one thing. Endgame does not mean the end of the actual game, not its finish line or its end result or completing it and never playing it again. That's not what I mean, unless maybe you're like Hydroxate and you have actually mastered Fashion Frame, then you can uninstall. Now the term endgame for me refers to content that is rewarding or challenging for the player base, like sortie missions, kind of. Think dungeon style missions for other MMOs that give you rare armor or weapons and so on, unique items. Now when I say rare items, I mean it can only be acquired in these game modes or these missions or dungeons, not in the store for real monies. Unique items that say, look, I've completed this shit and I have a unique item to show for it. And yes, Warframe has events every so often and raid missions, but not a lot of players run the raids anymore because after a few runs they kind of get a little bit tedious, or they're just large crowd control missions that aren't really fun, or maybe you prefer playing solo and it's just too much of a hassle to go about setting up a raid with random players. And the raids in Warframe compared to other MMO games are a little bit different. Yes, in other MMOs there is still a little bit of crowd control in certain raids, but you get to kill things. In Warframe you can complete the Law of Retribution raid without killing barely anything. Just blind or Bastille everything or slow over them and just go about completing the parts and kill the boss and you're done. Some players enjoy it, some players don't. I personally don't. But that's just me, maybe that's just a personal preference. It's not the kind of raids that I'm used to doing in other MMOs. Now before the introduction of the new Void Fisher missions, we could run endless voids for more chances at prime parts. The longer you stayed in these missions, the less void keys you would use up, and in the long run have a better chance at the items that you wanted. Basically you would get more items for the value of that one key that you would use for the Void mission, but with the recent Void changes it has removed all of that and now endless Void missions are kind of redundant. With Fisher missions you're also only limited to one item per Void relic, so you can run a Fisher mission in about 10 minutes, jump back in and run another one and hopefully get the parts you want, but you don't get the chance at having a large haul of items at the end of that mission, so you're not getting the same value for one relic as you would have for a void key. And a lot of the player base will argue that the new Fisher missions are faster for farming your prime parts, but it also gets boring quickly and the challenge just seems to be gone. But maybe that's just me, and I do know a lot of players who are feeling this way right now, and I've been seeing a lot of those comments on my videos. Now don't get me wrong, endless void missions could be boring as well, but there was those crazy moments we all had in them when enemies would scale up to ridiculous levels and you would have those oh shit kind of panic moments. Of course, the bad thing about endless void missions was that the game isn't really designed for enemy scaling of that magnitude. it kind of broke the game modes. Going 2 to 4 hours or more in a void mission would leave enemies dealing stupidly high amounts of damage and soaking up tons of damage as well, because armor be damned. But on another hand, endless missions also allowed us in a way to test Warframes to the extreme. The challenge of seeing how long you could stay alive for and how many prime parts you could get in a single mission. Running with friends or clanmates and surviving those panic moments when shit really hit the fan made it really fun for me. It added a little bit of excitement. Then racing to the exit of that mission and hopefully making it out alive with all of the prime parts that you gathered throughout the mission. Whether those prime parts turned into ducat fodder or ducat fodder or not, it didn't really matter. So I guess this video is basically me just saying that there is this empty spot left in the game now where endless void missions used to be, and a lot of players, myself included, are wondering what to do to fill that empty spot. What mission types do you run now? What do you guys do now? Because endless void missions have been such a large part of Warframe for a very long time, and now, like I said earlier, they kind of feel redundant. So what is the so-called end game in Warframe now? What do you guys think? I'd like to know, because I'd like to know what I can actually spend my time doing now, because most weapons with a few forma on them will easily kill everything in the star chart missions. So why do we forma our weapons so much and have them dealing these insane amounts of damage when there's literally nothing in the game to go up against them? A 5-formed Tonkor or Sancti Tigris or even Tigris Prime now or Galatine Prime will kill absolutely everything on the star chart, right up to sorties as well. Like, sorties are no real problem for these weapons. Maybe it is because I'm suffering from a concussion at the minute and my head's a bit fucked, but just some food for thought. Bit of a rant video, I know, and I am sorry for that. I'm just curious because I find myself logging in lately, doing Fisher missions, leveling weapons, doing some Syndicate missions, and then all of a sudden trying to figure out what do I want to do now. I kind of get bored and I end up logging off, whereas I used to do endless void missions when I got a little bit bored because I wanted to test a frame or a weapon. Now, I'm not criticising DE in any way or burnt out in any way either. I'm still playing the game every day and I do love the game, every aspect of it, but from time to time I do wonder about certain aspects of it, especially with all of the changes and constant reworks that the game has been getting. Sometimes a bit of an old rant, I guess, is needed to get stuff off your chest, so hopefully you guys will understand that. So let me know in the comment section below, do you guys miss old void endless missions, survival or defense or whatever? How do you fill the gap that those missions have left behind? Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you don't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.